the Wrestling Fan and Wrestling Show. I'm the big beefy boy, Shaz Beef, and today I'm delighted to be joined by the Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion. It's Mr. Country Boy Longford. Some might know him as Conor Brady Lee. Thank you very much, sir, for coming down.
How are you getting on?
I'm good. First time in Kilkenny?
Yeah, first time. Some weather out there, isn't it?
It's not too bad, yeah. You didn't want to wear a t-shirt or anything?
No,
or
but look, Mayor, the hard work at the tan out, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, do you actually have to work on that tan?
This is a hard, man. People ask me about the tan, and this tan, if anything, it's a sign of hard work. That's how I look at it. That's how I think of it. You know what I mean? It's a labour of love. It's passion. It's out in the fields, out in the tractor. You know what I mean? It's getting work done, and that's what it is.
You're a working man on top of being a wrestling worker as well.
This is it.
Do I refer to you as Country Boy Longford or Conor Brady Lee? Or
we go with CBL.
We go with CBL, yeah, because JBL is one of my favourite wrestlers of all time.
I'm coming for you.
He's made a comeback.
Yeah, and I knocked that hat off his head fairly lively.
The last outlaw. I just kind of thanks for coming down, the opportunity you get to speak to anybody about Irish wrestling. Everyone has their different journeys. Coming from Longford, the journey must have been quite difficult, I would imagine. Where does the journey begin for you?
I suppose like anyone, do you know, you find your love of wrestling. I think I remember watching just like wrestling as a kid back in Granard, and just loved it, really taken back by it, and that's the same thing anyone will tell you.
Yeah.
But then I think it was initially, like anyone at that age, about 8, 9, you say like, I'm going to be a wrestler. But it was when I heard Sheamus as Anam Dom, I was like, Jesus. Like, I remember leveling my brother across the sitting room and we're watching ECW in the background. I think Yoshitatsu debuted in the same ECW
killer theme song as well.
Yeah, bop. But then Sheamus was shortly after, and I remember my brother and I would just both kind of turned our heads at the same time and just stopped because it was an Irish wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's not been seen in that same way. Like, we have like Finlay, of course, and I absolutely love Finlay, but like just seeing this big ginger lad speaking Irish, you know what I mean? It was mind blowing. But yeah, seeing him a couple of months later, actually, we were on a holiday, lucky enough, in Florida, and we went to an FCW show.
Wow.
That would have been October 2009, 2 months before he won the WWE title, and he's in the shed in Florida having a triple threat match with Curt Hawkins and Justin Gabriel. So there's one for you. But I remember watching him and John Cena TLC 2009, and like a lot of people, I was like, there's no way, there's no chance he's going to win against John Cena, and he did it.
Yeah, put him through that table.
Yeah, and I was 11 at the time, and there was a small bit of me that was very annoyed because I was like, well, I'm not going to be the first Irish champion but at the age of 11 then, watching that, I was like, okay, like, it's somewhat possible. And I decided, like, in that moment, I was like, right, well, I'm going to have to move to Dublin at some point. And that kind of set the tone for the years to come, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I remember WCW. I'm of a bit of an older vintage, and I remember the Belfast Bruiser that was there.
Bruiser,
Or it could have been the Dublin City Bruiser. But then, obviously, Finlay was in WCW as well at the time. I think Sarge might have played a leprechaun gimmick. And I remember it's just been an armour that Ireland was being shown on the screen, along with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. And then I had a Kilkenny wrestler in Mick Wall starting training in Irish whip wrestling, and I was like, holy shit, like, not just Irish people, but someone from where I'm from.
Even like that now, for me, being able to bring Fight Factory back to Longford and run shows there, like, it's mad, because like I'm in like 2 or 3 times now I've gotten like a text off a young lad from around the country, and he's asking me about how to get started, all this, and it's like, to me, it's like, it's just mad, like, and I'm happy that I can be some sort of representation for like people in the Midlands that are like, oh Jesus, that's miles away. But like, if you want to do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? Like,
what is that? What's the logistics? Because you mentioned that you had to move to Dublin to start training, but like, is that what it started as initially?
No. So when I started wrestling, I'd finished school all off, so I was working away in Pat the Baker's, filling bread vans.
So fresh it's famous.
And that is a fact. But I was working there full time, and I had Saturdays always off, and I was like, right, well, this is it. Like, this is like, because the schedule had to line up for me to be able to, commit to it in a sense. So every Saturday I'd be up. It was like my old boy would leave the house at maybe 5 o'clock in the morning because he'd be going to work. If he could be working anywhere. If he was working in Athlone, you get dropped off at Athlone, you'd wait an hour or two, get a bus from Athlone up to Dublin, and then you'd be waiting around for 2 hours, and then you train for 4 hours, and then you get an Eddie Rockets and back home. That was a good old day, and they're really, really really nice days to look back at, and especially because like I can see like the heart that was there, and like so early on how much I was committing to myself and how much I was like, right, I want this. It was horrible at times getting up that early and getting home that late and all that kind of stuff, but like it was amazing all the same. But then about after a year I moved up to Dublin, and I suppose like quite a jump of that's the thing as well, when you kind of get to going from your teenage years to your adult years, it's hard. There's a lot. You have to look after yourself, you have to do the washing, you have to do everything and anything. And I think like just kind of went a bit all over the place. It was such a change in my life, you know what I mean? I feel like for maybe like 6 months or so, like I was kind of a bit all over the place. Like I was still wrestling, still training, and I knew how much I wanted to do it. Never kind of left the focus, but like I think I was just a bit all over the place in a sense, you know what I mean? But then came along COVID, and like I just kind of really like pushed to kind of figure everything else outside of wrestling so I could be better at wrestling.
And like the fact that you stuck it out, because I made a journey, I maybe around the same age, so I was 21 and I moved to Australia and I just couldn't adjust. Like,
it's tough.
And after 6 months, it was the first. I never considered myself a home bird, but because I was living in different places, but I could always return home at the weekend.
Yeah.
But when I went to Australia, that couldn't happen. But the fact that you were able to identify and then rectify, any issues that you may have had at that time, because it's a big life adjustment, and stick it out, it kind of goes to show like a testament to your discipline.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in like even like failures and struggles, like they're opportunity for learning. They always are. Like if you're something you feel like you're crap at and you want to be good at, like look at why you're bad at it, and you're going to figure out how you can be good at it. And that's like hard, because like you're juggling so much with wrestling. But I remember like that kind of first year was like, I do firmly believe, whereas I mightn't have been like someone you would have looked twice at, I do firmly believe I was still the hardest worker in that room.
Yeah.
Do you know
and
what I mean?
Like what year are we talking then?
So I started wrestling October 21st, 2017.
2017, and was that with Fight Factory?
Yeah, I started training in Fight Factory on a Saturday morning in October, and I was just like, I still remember, because I knew like for so many years I was like, this is what it's going to happen, I want to do it. And obviously there was a few times where I thought like, I'll get training now, I'll get to start this summer, I'll get to start this, and a few times I had plans that fell through, and it's just kind of how it happened. But like it was that thing as well of just like waiting out and just kind of trusting it, because I knew how much I wanted it. And as I said, I wanted to wait till I got to the point where I could be consistent, and I suppose we got that eventually. But yeah, like it's mad looking back on it, but I still remember that first day like it was yesterday. And it's like I knew going into it like this was a pivotal day in my life.
Who was the trainer?
Kay Harvey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the feminist icon,
Yeah.
the queen of Irish wrestling.
Like I did the 10-week beginner course with Fight Factory. Even just we were doing some chain and just watching Katie and how passionate she is about it.
Fantastic. Like Kay, and I say like about those times where I was struggling and stuff like that. There was times like, and not to go down too much of that like sad route, but there was periods where away from home, I didn't know my head from my arse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially Dublin. Like it's a
the big smoke. Now she'll chew you up and she'll spit you out. Yeah. But like, like the moving Dublin's scary or whatever. And I wouldn't say scary, but I feel like I would have got like anxiety, mad stuff like that, whatever. But I remember going to trainings, and I just like I talked to LJ recently about this when he was taking training, about kind of how the training has changed from back then to now. And I think one of the things he said to me was like, oh yeah, but I think maybe back then you weren't as good and you couldn't keep up. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. Like, and I'm seeing that now, but I think I would have let that eat me a bit before. I remember times where I wouldn't have trained, but I'd be watching training, and like Katie Harvey is like the best in the world, because she's just sitting chat to you, and she's like just unreal. Like nobody's like, I think one of the best people I've met in wrestling, hands down. Like I'm so very, very grateful for her. Like,
in terms of the actual training styles, and you're saying kind of sitting it out and that kind of stuff, then there must be an awkwardness coming from somewhere like Longford, because I found it when I was coming up from Kilkenny and I was around a lot of people from Dublin, and they're all friendly with each other, and I felt out of place. And it was nothing that they did, it was my own insecurities and stuff. Did that have a factor that played in it? And then maybe Katie, and like the more you get to know them, it kind of eases the pressure that you're putting on yourself.
Yeah, like I think like there is that, and I think something I've noticed of why you might feel that is because I've been around wrestling now 7 years, and like you see so many people fly in and fly out. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think that's a big part of why like some people are like it mightn't be the easiest to make like initial connections like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because people are so used to like, oh, he might be here next week, he might not.
100%.
And it's not like an ignorant thing. It's just the way like I feel like that kind of situation is.
You've hit the nail on the head, because for me, I feel like some people can be quite standoffish initially, and it's that same thing. You have to factor in that they're seeing guys coming in, and like I always realize, I realized that when I was in IWW like years ago, that maybe they don't like me, but to put that way that you've described it on it, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's like if you were working a job in a factory or something like that, and you're seeing lads fly in and fly out the whole time, you know what I mean? You'd just be used to it, and it's kind of like that. But like I've been very lucky. I've met some of the best people in the world. You know, in my opinion, like I've made friends for life, and I made like I definitely felt that for like a little bit of period. You're a bit of a fish out of water in some senses, but like I was always very like welcomed and stuff like that. But yeah, like once I'm like kind of start hanging around with some of the lads, like that was it, like, mates for life. Like, so
when you're making that initial decision then to go train with Fight Factory, there's main stage as well. I think they're training as well. What stood out about Fight Factory to you?
I think it was more so I heard about like Fergal Devitt, Finn Balor, along with Paul Tracy had opened the place, so that was like a cool kind of connection. I always thought that was really cool, but also I love the kind of, I feel like if Fight Factory is like very kind of old school traditional in some senses. And I think it was just like I was very lucky that I reached out to them, I think like February or March in 2017, and I think that just when they moved out of Bray, so they were moving to Dublin, and I just missed the beginners course then in the summer, just with other stuff going on. That it was in October that I started, but I think it was like seeing and knowing that they had like that kind of the British style and the chain and all that kind of stuff, and just knowing about the heritage, like as we were kind of talking about before, like the history of wrestling and stuff like that. And I felt like there was a lot of history here, and it was kind of a cool place that you wanted to be a part of, you know?
Like even when I did my time there, I'm looking back on, say, LJ, he's gone to Noah. Lyra was there training. You know, we all know what Lyra is doing now. Jordan would pop in and out every now and again. Sammy D, Barry from Be Cool,
Sammy D, the first Irish junior heavyweight champion.
You know what I mean? And like what Sammy is achieving now, and just watching him work is amazing. And he would have learnt his trade, and their photos were all up over Fight Factory and stuff.
Trained by Phil Boyd. I think like Phil Boyd is like the gel of a lot of things there, and a big piece of why Irish wrestling grew, because I think like there was many times like obviously Fergal Devitt went on to some great things and all like that, and I think the school was getting kind of passed on to Phil. And when I look at it now, I'm like, Jesus, he was fairly young when he got a wrestling school thrown at his feet, you know. And I think it's a huge credit to him that he like took that over and he kept the place running for so long. Like Phil trained up Be Cool, he trained up Sammy D, he trained Michael May, he trained Lyra Valkyria, he trained LJ Clary. Like it speaks for itself, and like I think he's like the backbone of Irish wrestling in so many ways. Like I think he's that person that goes under the radar and doesn't get his credit all the time.
I was about to say, why do you think that is? Like obviously the national stadium shows are run by Over the Top Wrestling. We've never got to see Phil do that, but Phil is dominating shows all over the country and has been for a long, long time. A hugely respected figure, anybody that comes across it. Why don't you think he gets his props? And I'm not suggesting that the National Stadium is a prop or whatever for somebody, but
I suppose like Phil, like as I said, like taking over school and stuff like that, it has to be a huge focus. You know what I mean? That like if for me who's pursuing and I like to take a big part of ownership in the club, of like getting things done and being a part of the club, because I look at it like any club, like a football club or anything like that. It's not just the wrestling on the mats, it's community. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think for a large part, like for me right now, the way I'm like trying to pursue wrestling, the way I'm trying to get busier, if someone threw a whole school at me to take over or it closes,
it was a sacrifice.
Yeah, well, I think that no, anyways, but Phil still killed it after. Like, he wrestled for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's like, Phil's the man. Phil's the man.
So in 2017, you're kind of finding your feet. you're training with the likes of LJ. Like I remember seeing LJ in 2015 training. I was like, this guy's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he was taking classes. I think he was only 16, but
he's young.
he was phenomenal. Like who else is there many from that class in 2017 that you had still going?
Right. So there was in July 2017, there was a Fight Factory beginners course, and I had signed up to start on it. Because of my job before Pat Baker, so I had Sundays off.
So Fresh is famous.
So Fresh is famous. I don't know which camera to be looking at.
I'll see.
I'm getting vertical looking at them here.
Look at this camera here now.
Let's have a look there. Are we looking well?
Look down the lens. Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. So Fresh, it's famous. Anyways, so yeah, that summer, the job I left, like I left it in a big part because I wasn't accommodating. And then I missed that beginning of the training course because of it. But that course, the people I would have came up with was like, who's around now is Fabio.
Yeah, I've seen his first match, Justin Ahern.
Yeah. Like Fabio, like I think now, like when you talk about who's the best in the country, you know, I don't even consider Liana anymore because he's just LJ is gone.
He's
Do you know what I mean? Like
international.
we're very lucky that he's back and forth and he's
Still the
coming back in.
MVP,
Yeah,
but
he's the MVP. But like I think like for top in the country, it's a fair tie between Martin Stairs and Fabio. Like I think they're next level. But
These two lads, we were OTT did the School of Irish Wrestling did the course in the National Stadium, the beginners course, the 3-day thing, and I was in the beginners section, and then there was the advanced section, and Fabio and Martin Steers were running a spot or whatever, and Joe stopped it and like made a point to point out to everybody about the particular things that the lads were doing. Like, you know, they're making everything count.
Yeah, they're next level.
They seem so switched on.
Yeah, but they started both on that beginners course. Steers, Fabio, JB, who's also unbelievable in the ring as well.
Shout out JB.
So JB. There's a good few from that. Yeah, like it's a good few have like lived on, like kept on. But like they're the kind of guys that have just like really stuck the course, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just kind of going back on something that you said there, that say Pat the Baker or wherever you were working wasn't that accommodating. What are the consensus between the people that you would have grown up with in regards to wrestling? Like, oh, I'm from Longford, I'm going to go wrestle up in Dublin now. Like, what are there people going like cop on, you know?
Yeah,
relax,
like, no,
or-
I never got too bad. Like I think I bet the ears off me brother for years, you know what I mean? He was often dragged out to a trampoline to hit a few slams, but I think he would have like had a fair bit of slagging to give. Do you know what I mean? Because he was like, "You're not gonna do it," kind of thing. I think that was it. I didn't have like mad like people enthusiastic behind me.
Yeah.
But I never had anyone like
Cheering.
mad negative. But like even that, like my brother now, he Beely Designs, he'll appreciate that one now. He does a lot of graphics. He's designed that t-shirt that you're wearing there.
Beautiful t-shirt. I want to get onto this soon.
But he's designed that. He designs all the graphics for RCW, for Fight Factory. And he's done like Elgin Cleary's t-shirts. He's done a few other people's graphics and stuff like that. So for me, I think that's kind of cool that, you know, he's not wrestling, but like the two of us are like kind of in the loop together. Do you know what I mean?
Wrestling's a massive ecosystem that, you know, that you have people that are working on the camera side of things. You have people that are designing merch, making t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. There's so many people that are involved within the Irish scene. It seems to be growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
In terms of the class that you're in, then you're in with Martin Steers, you're in with Fabio. You know, they're very athletic kind of guys. Like Steers doing shooting star presses and his flip stunner on the ropes, and Fabio doing his moonwalks and stuff. You mentioned sitting down with Katie Harvey and maybe beating yourself up over that.
Nah, it wasn't like too like. It was just like I think for like that first year that I was training, I was kind of doing like 1 day a week, whereas these lads might have been on 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't at that standard yet. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was just that was really it. But like, I'm by naturally I'm quite a clumsy bloke. Like,
Yeah, this is so am I.
like for years the term I heard, and I still hear it every now and again, is Mickey Mouse hands. Get
Mouse
those
hands.
Mickey Mouse hands away from me.
Just
so
a big, yeah, I get it.
yeah, so yeah, but like I wouldn't have been like the most athletic person, but like I stuck with it, and I'm still like, you're not gonna see me doing a shooting star now, but like I can move, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can move fairly well, like, and I can keep up to a high degree now, so I'm quite happy.
So from 2017, you started training 21st of October to getting onto a show.
Yeah.
Like, what's the time there?
So my first match would have been in the summer of 2018. It wasn't a proper show. It was like the
Gym Wars.
No, it was like there was the Trinity Brawl, the first Trinity Brawl.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been July 6th, and I believe July 8th, the Sunday. It was kind of like just everyone was in the venue, and we just said like, we have a ring, we have the whole setup here, we'll do like some matches, and it was just like the crowd was just the lads.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had my debut against Owen Richards, which was quite a fun match looking back, and a fair bit of history of Owen Richards now.
Saviors of Destiny. I missed the Nintendo though.
Yeah, the Nintendo. You won't appreciate that now, will you? Can you feel that? Hey. Yeah, and then later on the same day, I wrestled Elgin Clary in a singles match after that. So those two matches on that first day. And then it was, I think, November later that year, I actually had a tag match with just another guy who he's left wrestling against Club Rock Shandy, who you know.
Clong.
Clong, yeah, we missed Clong.
I missed Clong. I interviewed him on the radio because he was after
of course you did. Clong's done everything.
He was after like stopping a fire or something where he worked.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it was mad, and I was like the next Irish superstar Clong, and then they were like, no, he's not wrestling anymore. I was like, fuck, he was cool.
Yeah, no.
And then I seen Martin Steers get absolutely decimated with a powerbomb. I think it was.
That's a fair throwback now.
The CBL character then.
Yeah.
Like, where does that start? Is it in your first match? Are you thinking, I suppose as a wrestler, you're always thinking about different things, but like, where does the character start? Are you looking at going Irish wrestling going, there's a gap there for this?
I came up to Dublin to train in wrestling, and I trained with a heap of dubs who went, haha, you're a culture. And it just kind of like, I think like the more I feel like people can relate to like me, to relate to CBL, because it's quite real, you know what I mean? Like, it is like, I'm a young lad from the back arse nowhere, you know, like my house back home is in the middle of a field, like it is, and you know what I mean, and we'll have cattle in the next field. We've often had cattle in our field. And this is just how it is, like, you know, my logo, the Pat the Baker's logo, I worked there, do you know what I mean? And it's all like like it was kind of bits happen bit by bit quite naturally, and I just like, you know, it's quite like genuine in a lot of senses. But I feel like now I'm like far more confident in ring.
Yeah.
Far more confident in ring now. It's getting to a point now where that like I just act the bollocks a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like when you see me at my funniest or when I'm having fun, it's just that I'm like, you know, I'll just act the bollocks.
But that's you still be genuine, like,
yeah.
You're having a crack.
I think that goes a long way in wrestling, because I feel like people want something they can relate to, something that like they can have fun with, and something they can engage with, and you know, trying our best at that. Yeah,
like what's kind of emanating from you is you're quite proud of you know your heritage as well.
100%, yeah.
Like you're talking about. I didn't even realize you worked in Pat the Baker. Then seeing the logo.
This is it.
Like, you know, it's very endearing.
Yeah,
to hear someone be that proud.
Here's the thing: if you're from Granard, you can't go without working at Pat the Baker's. You know what I mean? It's like your ticket out. It's like the boys in Korea when they have to go in the army and stuff like that. They issue you into the dispatch in Pat the Baker's.
Oh man, that's nuts. So like the confidence then that comes with being your genuine, authentic self.
Yeah, well, like I love it's only kind of recently I was down in Cork and I seen parts of the country I never seen before, and I adore rural Ireland.
Yeah.
Like I love like the characters of it. I love like even like I don't get being home too often in Granard, and like Granard is a small town, about 1,100 people. You know what I mean? Like you can see my primary school from my secondary school. You can see like we have the moat on top of Granard.
Right.
And I love Granard. I love home. One of my favourite places in the world is the moat in Granard, right? And it's where there was a big Viking settlement up the top of it. Allegedly St. Patrick's Day night there, which is always a fun fact that I like. But honest to God, anytime I get like a day or two at home, I'm up to the moat. Even it's not a high walk or anything like that. I go up and I can see the whole, like you can see allegedly 5 counties from the top of it, right? Because Granard's all up in a slant, up in a hill. And you go up to the top of the moat and you can see everything in the town. I can see where I grew up. I can see my primary school, me secondary school. I can see about 4 or 5 different places I've worked. You know what I mean? You can see.
Make me love Grannard now.
Yeah, oh man, I'm telling you, it's great. Visit Grannard, lads. Longford local, Longford reviews or whatever. But yeah, like even it's such a small little town, and it's historical. Like Michael Collins' fiance, Kitty Kiernan, was from there. Their family owned the Gravel Arms, which is still open. It's a small, like, everything's local. But I love even like walking down the street and everyone's like, "Oh, how are you getting on?"
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I think that's very like just. It's
you
just
still
lovely.
do the wrestling crack?
Yeah, like this is it, like, and that's like, I suppose now in a lot of ways, there are people who I don't keep in touch with as much. Like if I go down to town, like that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? And that's fun as well. And it's like that was mind blowing last year when we did the first show in Longford for Fight Factory. That I'm seeing my like poster, because I remember going into the Grannard Inn. Shout out to Joe. I used to work in the Grannard Inn as well, right? Chinese. And I remember going in there many times before I walked there, and they'd have the wrestling.ie posters.
Yeah.
And I'd say, Joe, do you mind if I nick that off the wall? And I'd bring it to the show and I get signed or whatever, right? But now I was going into the Chinese and it's my poster up there.
Ah, man.
So that's really cool. Like,
Man, that's class.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, it's a nice, like, full circle-y kind of moment. And it's like, in the grand scheme, like, it's quite small, but like, I do feel like I'm someone who, like, I feel very grateful that I got to do anything in wrestling, and I'm still like I'm only hitting my groove now, and I'm having so much fun and like everything like that. But yeah, just so grateful for anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
It's easy to say, "Oh, it's cool." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's easy to go, "Oh, that is cool," because it is cool. But I've had moments in my life where I've been like, "Cool," but it never really hit me, and I never took time to appreciate. Like, did you get a little pang in your heart when you seen that? Because you should have, like, you know, you were a young kid looking up at, you were in the Chinese that you used to work in, and now there you are promoting the show. Like, that must have feeling unreal. Did it genuinely just strike you?
Yeah, I think right now what's hitting me is I think it's hilarious that I'm down in Kilkenny with me top off, getting recorded, promoting the Grannard Inn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was like, I don't think I took it in as much because like, it was quite stressful trying to get the pieces together for the show. Make sure the show goes well, because it's like, for me, it's like, as much as being the Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion, like, being a representative of the club like means the world to me. As I've said, like, the reasons why I chose to go to Fight Factory, being a representative for that, but also being a representative for like something local in Longford. Like, it's all the combination of that is just something like surreal. You know,
I realised, you know, no matter what I was doing, I was always looking ahead to the next thing, and I was never enjoying what I was doing because I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And now that I'm a bit older, that I'm taking those moments to actually let it sink in. Like, wow, I'm standing in a wrestling ring. Like, what? Anytime I do a play, there's always one moment in the play, because there's a lot of stress involved in building that. There's always one moment in a play where I just take time to appreciate what I'm doing. Yeah. And then I'll miss my line or something. No, but like, to recognize that at an age that you are, and you got hit with that moment, like that really stands out to me. That's really awesome. In terms of, we talk kind of about finding the character. In wrestling, it can be quite easy to fall into tropes of, you know, you shut up, or let's go and stuff. But finding the CBL character, is it awkward initially to kind of let yourself be a bit out there? Because I even find that now, where I'm genuinely an overt, like, obscenely crazy kind of person. When you meet me, I like being over the top, but when I'm in a wrestling ring, I find sometimes that I shrink. So does it help where you have friends and people like Katie Harvey and Phil Boyd and Justy, you know, allowing you to come out of your shell? Like, can you realize how much you're coming out of your shell as you're progressing through the career, from 2017 to your first match to your next match in November?
But I think, like, I never had a problem in making a fool of myself. Yeah, that part is easy, but it's making a fool of yourself with confidence. Yeah, that's a fair jump. Like, but yeah, I think it's just like, I think, like, if you look at 2017 to now, it's just like, it's just really just trying to be better. Do you know what I mean? And it's a thing of like committing to that, and like, there's been a lot of sacrifices throughout that, as you can imagine, because it's been it's what my life is centered around for the last, like, especially from like after COVID till now, was like a really like bump up in like effort, up in like what I was doing, everything, and like trying to get out there, all that kind of stuff. Like a really, really big like jump. Like, even I think my first singles match on a Fight Factory episode show was only 2 years ago. So like that's that's a fair jump. And before that, I think I might have only done 2 episode shows.
And there was a big injury layoff in between, wasn't there?
No, well, I got injured last November, I want to say.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like that wasn't too bad. But like, I've been quite consistent now on episode shows. Thankfully, I was only actually talking to Lee last night. I think like the next Fight Factory is going to be my 6th episode main event, which is like, to me, is like just insane. Do you know what I mean?
And like, so when does it start? Because like we all deal with COVID, and someone who's learning their trade. You know, I used to interview people that say were boxing, and they're not getting to spar with people because of COVID. You know, so how big of an impact did that have on? Do you think your actual training?
So I think like it was in large parts like a big making of me personally, because like as anyone, I think everyone will tell you how good COVID was for me or whatever like that, you know what I mean? And it was what it was. A lot of us just went mad in the drink, didn't we?
Yeah, I became an alcoholic. Well, it was always one apparently.
But yeah, like, I think like I got fairly heavy and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Wasn't looking after myself. But before that, like before COVID hit, I was really training a lot and like being consistent.
Were you doing many shows before then?
Not a mad amount, but I was like...
Was Phoenix around then? And
Phoenix was around, but I hadn't debuted for Phoenix. I had wrestled only Fight Factory and Titanic. So Titanic was the first place I wrestled.
It's Northern Ireland.
In Belfast. So Titanic was the first place I wrestled outside of Fight Factory, I believe. And then after COVID, I came back from the lockdown and I had like new set of gear. I got myself in really, really good shape. I was like just ready to go, and I started like hit the ground running my training. And I was in a tag team at the time, which was like a really, really good way at the time to like get out and get experience, get exposure. I was very lucky. Titanic were like a place that really just gave us like a mad opportunity, like just to get in there and being consistent on their show.
Is that Tucker that runs that?
That would be JDP. So I think there's other people in the team there that are running that as well. But one of the best places to wrestle. Like so much fun. Like the crowd, I absolutely love wrestling in Belfast. So like got consistent there. Got wrestling every month in Titanic, which was mad. Like we're right back, and it got like jumping back from COVID to being regular was like quite. And I hadn't done that before. Do you know what I mean? But then built relationships that then in December debuted for Phoenix. So was doing Fight Factory. So was starting to get a good bit busier. And then
getting the reps in as well.
Yeah. So like I hadn't had enough experience. Like before COVID, like I might have had like 10, 15 matches, you know what I mean? So like I was very, very lucky coming out of COVID.
And you're kind of just starting to hit the ground running then. And it's great that there's so many different avenues. It seems to like I'm finding new companies in Ireland every day. Yeah. Like I see Cambo Cray has Complete Anarchy Wrestling, which looks like absolute complete anarchy. But being able to get to wrestle in Fight Factory maybe one week, then RCW then the next week, and then maybe with the IWA shows, and then Titanic, as you were saying. I know that Phoenix became RCW. Hard Knocks has a thing now. OTT are doing their stuff. Like there's so many different avenues for Irish wrestlers now, and it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, like I suppose, like as you said kind of to me before this, was like you were training in IWW at one point, and I know they would have ran, and there would have been other places, but you wouldn't have crossovers and stuff. So the scene right now, everyone that's training right now has so many opportunities in front of us, and like we're very, very lucky as a scene, as like trainees, not just myself, like the whole crew is lucky.
Fans.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Like I think people may like sometimes like just kind of fall into the trap of like, oh, you'll get these handy. Yeah. But I think like you have to like if you pardon the pun, you have to catch the bull by the horns, like, and you have to make use of like all these opportunities. And I've been very lucky that I have been able to like say like Fight Factory there right now, like I'm Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion, like a dream, and I'm getting the rest of like huge matches, you know. RCW, you know, I've like had a lot of history there, like main event their first show. I've wrestled like man like the Reese, Gene Money. I've done like some big things down there.
I love Gene Money.
Yeah, I love Gene Money. But yeah, and then even getting to compete for the RCW Heavyweight Championship, and Unfortunately lose, but we come back to that anyway.
Yeah.
And then Hard Knocks, that's an amazing place to work as well. I love up in Belfast and the Titanic. OTT as well I've wrestled in. Like, I've been very, very lucky. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just raring to go. But I do think we're a lucky scene right now. Very lucky.
Yo, you mentioned the word opportunity there, and it's all about taking your opportunities. Is there a particular moment in Fight Factory, because that's where this bad boy comes from?
Yep.
Is there a particular moment that you felt that the owners, like Phil, Casey, Justy, the trainers, were able to go, right, here's our main eventer now? Was there something in your brain? It could have been in training, could have been in a match, something like the music when you're coming out, the reaction you're getting. Is there something that stands out to you that goes, right, I have this and now they know I have it?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think, like, I remember, as I said, like, I was in a tag team and stuff like that, and that kind of ended swiftly. That I was kind of like, then, oh, what do I do now? And it so happened that around August of that year, so August 2022, just because of life itself, I had to move back to Longford. And it was at that point, I remember, and that's just about 2 years ago, but I remember saying to myself, like, right, okay, like, I've been having fun with wrestling, but now I need to really, like, if this is something that I want to pursue, this is now the making of me. Like, I remember having that, like, kind of talk with myself of, like, right, well, if I really want this, like, I'm going to have to do it. And I remember, like, mornings, leaving home at, like, it might have been 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't getting home till 1 a.m. And I did that, like, twice a week for a while.
Man, that's sick, man.
But, like, at that period, I knew I was in a good position, and I knew I was like, right, well, if I want to get better, this is what I need to do. If I want to be consistent, if I want to be seen as someone that's good, like, all these things to step up. And I remember around that time then, I think, like, Kay Harvey kind of seen that. She seen, like, there was a good, like, graph going there. And she had me wrestle Martin Kirby, who was, like, Martin Kirby's been in Dragon Gate in Japan. He was a What Culture champion, which was a big thing at the time. And
cool tights.
Like, Martin Kirby, like, he was he was the first kind of person to wrestle outside the country, and, like, an absolute gentleman, and, like, an absolute, like phenomenal wrestler. And he's been, like, someone who's been, like, very helpful to me since. Like, if he ever anytime I've ever asked him to, like, for feedback or anything like that, he's there. Do you know what I mean? But I think, like, from there it kind of took off a little bit. Like, just kind of kept expanding a little bit, and it was, like, hard to ride that wave in many ways, because your momentum will go up and it'll go down, you know what I mean? You won't know what you're at times. But I think I just overall just tried to stick consistent, and I think when I won the championship, it was just time for it, you know what I mean? I was very, very lucky about that. Yeah. Did
you feel yourself, like, were you like, yeah, I deserve
this
now?
The day of, I was like, yeah, like, this is right. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I'd be looking at that every day, and I'm like, what is life? Like,
it's class, man.
Yeah,
like, that's a belt Jordan held. You mentioned Sammy D, Lyra, LJ.
Like, even when I look at, like, the people that I would have trained a lot with, Fabio, like, I've seen he wrestled Jonathan Gresham, the ROH champion, while the junior heavyweight champion, and that's, like, mad. And, like, Martin Steers as well, and LJ, and it's like, just the history and prestige of it. Like, I think it's, like, it's just, as I said, with Fight Factory, the traditional side of it all, like that, I just absolutely adore it,
Man, getting there, like, you started in 2017, didn't have that many matches before the pandemic. You come back after the pandemic, and within, like, a relatively short space of time, you're now the head honcho down there,
Yeah, like, and I still think, I have a lot of, like, catching up in many ways. Do you know what I mean?
And that's amazing that you think that, though,
yeah, like, I'm not, like, gonna say, like, I am truly, and I've said it before on camera, and I've said a million times, that I'm on a crusade to be one of the best in the country. Like, I will not, like, I'm someone who will train, like, as much as I can, and, like, well, I'll train 3 or 4 days a week, and I'll push and whatever, and I'll still try and manage, like, all of the hats for wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to be better in ring, trying to get, like,
coming down here doing interviews, like,
yeah, like, it's something I like. I look at it as such a wide scope, and it's a hard thing to juggle, but, like, I just want to be as good as I can at everything in it.
So I had met you at a training, and I had said to you, you take the trains down in Fight Factory on the Sunday, and you were really modest about like what you're doing down there, and I was like, no, I was told you were the trainer. Like, you know,
sometimes like we've like our head trainers down there will be LJ when he's around. We have Martin Steers on Tuesdays.
I heard they are insane classes.
Yeah. You're pushed to your limit, which is fantastic. But it gets us ready for you know, being on a show and actually being in the ring. Like matches like against O'Mari, he's a big fella. Do you know what I mean? And you're pushed in there. I wouldn't be able to like withstand a match like that without being pushed in trainings regularly. And then like we have on Thursdays with Michael May. Like look at those two alone. Like how good is that? How good do we have it? Like, and then you know, you have Justy taking Mondays there with the beginner courses, and then Kay Harvey, Phil Boyd are usually on a Saturday, and then you'll have the likes of Andy Steele and Debbie Keitel, and like you have a really, really good, like I'll slide in there when there's no one else around, but I'm not like, you know.
Well, you know, you're there, you know what I mean? You're up there.
I want to keep the place. You mentioned
the names. That's a pretty elite crew that you have there.
It's a very like strong like roster of people to be learning from, you know.
And I just want to give the one standout now in Fight Factory has to be Bypass. Do you know Bypass?
What?
Ryan Brennan. I started beginners class with him.
Right.
Ryan Brennan, Bypass. He's going to be the guy to take this off.
Oh well, we'll see.
Having that over your shoulder, then representing Fight Factory, like what are the aspirations? Is it Fight Factory now all the way? I know that you're doing RCW as well. You had the chance for the title there. There's a connection between those two promotions as well. So, like, what are the aspirations as you have that title? Just being the best.
Yeah, be as good as I can, be a good representative for the club. And as well, I feel like in the last few months, like I've taken like quite a noticeable level of ownership in the club. Of like, I look at it as like when I was injured for a good few months, and like, as you can imagine, the spirits are quite low, but I was still at training twice a week, and I'd watch, you know what I mean? And it's miserable watching, but I was so lucky to have that.
Man, like,
you know what I mean? And I always look at them, I was grateful for the like community and club side of that, because you won't get it everywhere, and I think like that was quite incredible. And I'm like, as I said, like I'm just always like grateful and like just excited about like getting what I get to do. But like even like trying to like get our gym looking like the best I can and stuff like that. Like recently,
I won't be sitting here with my top off anyway, I tell you that.
No.
I thought you were wearing a white sleeveless there for a second, but it's just a skin tan.
No, it's hard work, I told you.
The fact, like, you know, I love the way you call it the club. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It is that sense of community. Like the fact that you were going back to Longford and you're coming back. The fact that you were there training, like, and man, it's so easy to beat yourself up when you're down. I was snapping. I did my grind. I was out for 5 weeks, and I was mentally, it was really tough.
I tore a muscle in my groin, and I went back to training 2 weeks after because I had matches and stuff like that. And I was wrestling Robbie X, and I hit
for fuck's sake.
Robbie X, my groin was all right. Like, I was feeling grand, but like, I think at that point it was just a thing of like, my body was so like burnt out, like it was ready to go. Like that, I did a shoulder tackle off the second, which I always do, and like this is 3 minutes into the match, and I just feel like it felt like water in my leg or something like that, and I got up and I shook my knee off, and I was like, that feels a little funny. But wrestled the rest of the match, which was probably another like 15 minutes.
Adrenaline flowing.
Yeah, like it was fine, and then like I remember going back after, and I remember I said to Michael May, I was like, I thought like I felt something funny with my knee, but that was grand. And I went out after, I went home, and it was that night I was lying in bed and I couldn't move my leg. It was like an excruciating pain. I was meant to wrestle the next day, which was a bit heartbreaking, but like I think like I could have been like, in definitely ways like I could have been back a little bit quicker, but I think I just needed to readjust or reapply the body a little bit. So.
And isn't it great the way that bullshit doesn't really exist in wrestling anymore, where they're I've noticed from if you're hurt, like you're hurt.
Yeah, like that was it as well. I was just like, well, I tore my PCL. I'm not much use to anyone. I did the music today, the next day of the show, and I was hobbling around like. That's
cool. You did the music of the show.
Yeah, well, this is it. Like, you want to help out what way you can, and even I seen that when we did a show in Longford there like 2 weeks, like the person who was meant to ref and the person who was meant to MC weren't able to show up in the day, and I had good people around me that were able to hop in. Do you know what I mean?
You need an MC, man.
There you go. No rock shandy for you this time.
No rock shandy for me this time. No, so bringing it back to Longford then.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned it kind of having the poster on the show. You did it recently.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like just the same feeling that you had the first time you got to do it?
Not so much, because I think it's now a thing for me of like it's still unreal to wrestle at home and get to like look out and see people, Like I remember the first time, like I was kind of so like nervous and stressed and whatever. But I swear to God, I see me family come in for the first show, right? And I was like, all right, yeah, they're there, grand, right? Someone else knew come in, and then I see Mick the Tire Man from Granard, and I swear to God I start swelling up at Mick the Tire Man from Granard, because I was just like, he's just like, I'd know Mick, but Mick could be just like, he's just a lad from Granard, and he came up to the show and I was just like, God damn it, you know what I mean? But
Mick is going to see me in me speedos.
But I think now it's like, even I think the first show in ways went better than the second show, and I think it was because it was the novelty of the first show.
Yeah.
And like I did a lot like for getting it together. Like the first time like around, it was radio and newspaper, all that kind of stuff, and posters all around. The same the second time. I wasn't on the radio though the second time, but we still were kind of hopeful that things would go well and whatever. But and it went well. It was a good show, but I would like to do it the third time and make it bigger and see everything that we did and what we can do better. But yeah, like it's something exciting to be able to bring the club back somewhere.
And it's different than the actual Fight Factory shows in that gym. Like I've never been to one, but they look insane.
Yeah, well, it's like if you're coming to a Fight Factory episode show in our actual club.
One coming up, 17-year anniversary.
17-year anniversary, CBL, the Bull, the Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion versus Fabio.
You're getting it, Fabio.
You're getting it, boy.
Solid me arse. Sorry, Fabio. You're more than welcome to come down anytime.
Like the shows, the episode shows are like, they're quite mad. Do you know, like,
look class.
Yeah, like it's bring your own beer. It's like everyone's just having the crack. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like we've kind of seen that now. And like even the last two shows, we've had the first one back was J Money's Mystery Tour. Or whatever it was, the mystery show.
You had to go through the van.
Yeah, and you had nothing announced. Nobody had anything announced, which I think made for something quite special of like, you don't know what you're seeing, you don't know who you're seeing. At the beginning of the show, it was announced that like, I might not be there with the championship, because that was the only thing that people thought was, foreseen.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. And then the next show we did, like, it was like essentially bragging rights between Team Fabio and Team Elja.
Yeah.
Which is so fun.
Cool SmackDown versus Raw. Like the graphics.
Again, Steely Designs. Well, there you go.
Jay Money seems like a very creative individual.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's a different type of cat. That's what I say. Yeah, he's done everything and anything. And
Trinity Brawl, that was him.
Yeah, that would have been.
You had Joffrey there.
I think Justy was a big part to play in it. But yeah, Jay Money is just like, he's a jack of all trades. And he's big creative mind.
He can sing. He has Jay Minnie now beside him. It's cool, man. It's cool to see all these different things. That's why I love wrestling. Wrestling can be absolutely anything.
Yeah.
It can be anything that you want, and it's getting together all these minds and bouncing off each other and stuff. How difficult is it to manage, say, your Fight Factory commitments and like whatever you have going on there, and say what's happening down in RCW then? Because like sometimes you might see Fabio going up against Martin Steers, and then you're like, oh wait, no, they're a tag team. Oh no, they're going up against
I find it like, I wouldn't say there's a big management aspect in that, because you're
consistent with your character.
Well, yeah, and that's it as well. Like, and I said this before, is like, I feel like CBL is CBL, but like I'm gonna react to the people in the sense that like, I'll have a good time down in Cork because they're a shower of mad bastards and they're all up for the crack. And like, I think that's something I seen with them. It's just like, I'm here for a laugh, and like even now, like I'm ready to hump that Andy Steele, like, and I will. You know what I mean? We're in a bull rope match, like absolutely insane. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is insane.
I love bull rope matches.
I don't know if there has been one in Ireland before.
I've been mad to get to. I've been annoying Damien Carvin. I was like, you just you. Get in a bull rope match or a strap match, you know what I mean?
Why are you Damien Carvin?
I don't know. I just think the Kings of the North kicking the shit out of each other with Bonesaw and Damien Carvin. I think that'd be amazing.
Kings of the North. Kings of the North.
But no, CBL versus Andy Steele. You mentioned crack. He cracked your head open.
Yeah, we got I don't know if you'll see it there, but.
Oh, man. I have a scar all the way up here as well.
Yeah, it was.
Scarface.
Andy Steele as well, was it?
Andy Steele.
Yeah, fucker, isn't he?
Bastard. Playing soccer. He was playing soccer for Ormond Villa and cracked up my head.
Yeah, that'd be Andy. Yeah, we're coming for Andy too.
Andy Snake.
we're going to tear you up now, pal. Break your head.
Yeah, are you excited about that match, or are you
definitely,
somewhat like you have to go into that match? It's a bull rope match. You're thinking of, say, strap matches with, say, Greg the Hammer Valentine. You think of the one that we just seen where they're touching the four poster, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, or CM Punk MJF. You think of Dusty Rhodes. You think of all the, like, what goes through your head then?
I think, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm going to be fairly sore the next morning, and it's going to be fairly scrappy. Do you know what I mean? Because there is that history there of like he bet me the last show, played a bit sly, but look, we'll let him have it.
That's no saviors of destinies, lads.
Oh yeah, well this is it, and like as many Owen Richards is running rampant down there, and he has had a very unique championship run, and he's beaten some of the best. But like in there with Andy Steele, and the first match, it's a main event, me and Andy Steele, and you can only imagine the heartbreak of facing someone for a vacant championship main event, and then you're on the ground. And I'm very lucky that it wasn't anything serious. As I said, I have a scar here. If that was 2 inches down here, I might not have an eye. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
You got Joey Mercury.
Yeah, I could have got I could have got a lot worse, you know what I mean? In that moment, I remember just I put my hand up on the ground and I could feel a dent in my head, and I was like, oh to and I looked down and see blood everywhere, and I'm like, all right, well, I may stay put, because if I get in that ring, I'm only getting pulled out.
Yeah.
So I remember being pulled to the back, and pulled to the side, and I'm still I can still see the ring, and I can see Mark Haskins coming in and all these things, and I'm like, you're fairly annoyed, but all the same, I could have been a lot worse. Could have lost an eye. I could have fucking had a very, very bad concussion.
Very
I could have
healthy.
been, I was.
Think of that,
I'm it was one show. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna batter Andy Steele, and then going for Owen Richards.
Yeah.
This is how it's happening. Do you know what I mean?
Two of them on a strap against.
Yeah, I'm gonna batter the two of them. Saviors, you save nothing, fools. But
you a bit scared?
Huh?
You a bit scared?
No, I'm not a bit scared. Not a bit scared. I think they're scared. But
you're getting whipped with a strap, or
that fella, he's used to getting whipped. He'd be all right. So no,
you have a few big matches, man. You have Fabio coming up now. You have Andy Steele.
It's picking. I feel like even since I've been back, I've wrestled O'Mari, LJ, and Fabio in a triple threat.
Took a snapmare off O'Mari. I was like, holy fuck.
He's a strong boy.
There's levels to this shit.
He's a big lad, and he's he was a dream match for a long time, and I was so lucky I got to wrestle him. But yeah, I've been, as I said, working hard, but I've been very fortunate for these opportunities. Titanic has always been great to me. RCW has been always great to me. Hard Knocks has always been great to me. Fight Factory has always been fucking great to me.
That's the home.
That's home. You know what I mean. So yeah, a lot of good opportunities. I'm raring to go.
You looking to go further afield, abroad?
Yeah, I was lucky enough now. There was it last month before. I wrestled in Wales for the first time.
Wow.
I've got Glasgow coming up. I think it's next month. And I'm working on some other stuff. So it's stuff that I feel like I should have been at a long time ago. But
you had roadblocks, man. You had injuries. You had fucking. You had that injury. You had the COVID, which is.
But we're just a good happy place now, but just having the crack, enjoying it, and just raring to go.
Oh man, just speaking to you, because I didn't know your journey. It's I'm really fucking if you weren't a CBL fan before listening to this, you are. Not saying that I wasn't.
Nobody's listening to this direct. They can't understand anything I'm saying, man. This long for the accent.
But you're seeing the passion that you put into it. I mentioned the train. I went through all that. Seeing this shit.
Yeah, man.
The merch that you're having on. The fact that you're not wearing, I know it's hard work, you're not wearing a t-shirt. You have the
CBL mugs.
CBL merch.
Now, I don't have it in there right now, but I believe I've only 2 of these left. But they always come with tea bags.
Yeah.
Which it has to be done. You can't give a man a teacup without a tea bag.
Man, the t-shirt, Pint Man.
Yeah, we got this Pint Man somewhere over there. We'll shortly put up. But Beely Designs has been a big help in me. Anytime I have an idea, he was lucky enough to help me out with t-shirt designs.
This is class. This is pure Irish nostalgia.
And that's I think some I did a t-shirt last year, the year of the bull, and I loved that, the year of the bull, because it was a year of ramping up and having bigger matches, and I did a t-shirt for the year of the bull, and I loved it when I got it made, and I saw I got a good lot of them. And now looking at it, I don't like the t-shirt because it's not funny.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I'm just I just want to have fun with this stuff. cow tag keychains. Like I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is like I do think, like, as I said to you, like, of like having that kind of fandom before. Like I used to go to Dotties and Cav and Athlone, Longford, anywhere I could go to. I went to Emerald wrestling shows, and I told you about the kind of history of Andy Steele. We can touch into that as well. But like I went to a lot of OTTs. I went to everything and anything that I could go to. Like I got buses up to Dublin for shows and everything. But I always think of it as like, if someone's willing to spend 20 quid on me, like, do you know what I mean? Like that's insane. Like 20 quid's a lot of money. But I think, like, I suppose it's kind of coming from like working class roots or whatever, but it's also being in those positions of the fandom, and I still am. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I just think it's crazy that people are willing to kind of back me, support me, and I just think that's like, how fortunate am I if people are going to get in that position for me? Like, I'm at least going to like provide something that I can see as like a little bit different.
And it's your character.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of creative input there, and it's like, you know, I'm having fun with it because it's just, I love this side of it as well, you know what I mean? It's getting to see more of me, I guess, you know.
Like you have a background in marketing then, is it?
Yeah.
Like that's putting your passions to
use. This is it.
Let's talk about
it.
I don't know. I've never been. I've never been.
We need to bring them.
I was never allowed into. Anytime I've been outside, they're like, too much tonight. I didn't have any. No, not tonight.
You didn't have enough. That was the problem. That was the problem. So, as I told you about my journey up and down to Dublin, as you imagine, there's a lot of times where it was lonely, or it was, you know, you're down, you're sad, you know. But there's one place that always felt like home. One place always felt like home. Up in Harcourt Street. You could hear from now. You hear ABBA, give me a man after midnight playing in the distance, and you just follow it like the three wise men following a star. You just follow ABBA.
I'm closing my eyes now. Think about it.
You're walking up, and there's roaring and shouting. You can hear nurses and guards, and you can hear tunes of galore. Mambo number 5. Boom, boom. You know, you're raring to go, right?
4-5.
Up to the face, Copperface Jacks. A wonderful place, a magical place. Culture heaven, culture mania, and it's
fucking go now.
Yeah, let's go. Oh no, I tell you, like those first years in Dublin, like just being able to have somewhere to go that I felt like I was with me own, and
everyone
like
are still in their dad's shoes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, still fit, a bit big, but did the job. Then we get a boogie in and all. So, yes, Copperface Jacks, and this is the thing as well. I don't think a lot of people know what a Copper's gold card is. No, so a gold card is like the exclusivity of Copperface Jacks. Like all the big names have them. Do you know what I mean? Protein Bar has one. The two Johnnies have them. You know, I'm sure the Gooch has one. Everyone, all the big names. And I want to be one of the best wrestlers in Ireland so that I can get that honour on me.
And be the first one?
I'm going to be the first Irish wrestler with a Copper's gold card.
Oh,
yeah, we're going to do it. And this is the thing as well. So the gold card, right? You get your free entry. You skip the queues. All the jazz of it, right? But people keep asking me. So I'm running an active petition, and as I seen today on the trend, I believe we're just after surpassing 180 signatures on it, which is mad, because it's, and I think it's class that nobody's ever done a petition in Irish wrestling. Like, I'll jump on that, right? But we have it there. This fella wants a Copper's gold card, and he is coming for it. He's gonna get it.
Give him it, Coppers.
You see, a lot of people are asking me as well. Calm down, you.
So I'm getting upset for you, man.
Yeah, Coppers, listen to him. Poor fella.
For fuck's sake.
But people are asking me, they're saying like, have you got the gold card yet? And in my head, I'm like, I've only launched this 2 weeks ago. Like, I'm in, like, as much as I'd love a gold card handed to me in the morning, like, I am in no rush. I will take a year with this campaign. I'll take 2 years if it means it. I want those signatures up in the thousands. I want it to be something that puts eyes on me, something that puts eyes on Irish wrestling,
something that puts eyes on Coppers.
And I was just getting to it. Ew! I'm telling you, we're going to have a mad session, a mad night out in Coppers. But lads, I need yous to sign my petition. Hashtag CBL for Copper's Gold. Get on it.
Celebrating with the belt.
Yeah.
You'll celebrate. You'll have the gold card and the gold belt.
There we go. We're going to be covered in gold head to toe.
Yeah, glitter and all that.
Maybe not glitter. Can get stuck in places, and you know. But we'll work on that. We'll work on that.
I'm excited for you now.
I want to go. I want this. I want it to be big. You know what I mean? And as I said, like, I'm willing to do, like, people think, like, you know, an announcement video went out and it's posters. I think there's about 300 of these hung up in Dublin right now. It was a long night.
You went down to Sheamus as well, didn't you?
Yeah. I knew
Sheamus.
he was in town, and I was fairly lucky bumping into him, and I knew where he was, so we went a bit hunting, but not in a mad way.
When I seen you throw John Cena through that table, I knew that I wanted to be a wrestler.
Well, I said it to him,
Yeah?
and he was buckled, and I think he went in one ear and out the other. Now, he was dead sound, like he took the time to take a picture and whatever, but I was just seeing him there on the session. I was like, good man.
Representing the Irish.
The worst thing he did that night was tweeting Copperface Jacks, because I was after him then for that.
You still a wrestling fan?
Oh, hugely, yeah. If you're wrestling and you're not, if you're like wrestling and you say you're not a wrestling fan, you're either a liar or an idiot. Like, if you're saying that, like, you're a fool. Like, you know, you need to keep watching it. You need to keep enjoying it. If you're not enjoying watching it, like, what are you doing? Like,
What do you enjoy?
Right, like, I love watching Sheamus. I love, like, Gunther and Randy Orton was unbelievable. Like, I love watching a lot of WWE. Bits of here, there, AW, TNA, like, you know, like, I watch a bit of anything, you know.
Anything, yeah.
Like, even, like, with LJ now, like, I've watched some bits, like, here and there of Noah and stuff like that. I wouldn't be very acquainted with Japanese stuff, but, like, kind of getting a bit more into it and stuff
The
like
internet is bad out in Grandard, is it?
that. I'm telling you, we only got Wi-Fi there about 2 years ago.
You see yourself going on to a big American promotion? Is that the goal?
That would be the goal down the line, but I'm
man.
I'm not in a rush, you know what I mean? I need there's a lot of things I want to refine, I want to get better at. I want to, as I said, like, I am on a crusade to be one of the best in the country. Like, I think there's people would have me already in the conversation there already, and that's an unreal thing to believe, but yeah, I just want to keep at it and keep pushing and I want to get everywhere. You know, there's some companies that I haven't been, like, very prominent in, and I'm like, that's something that's coming up. I want to, like, get there. Do you know what I mean? And, like, as I said, there were setbacks along the way, but there's always going to be setbacks. But as I said as well, they're learning, they're experience, and, like, I'm just raring to go, you know.
You can tell, man. Like, I mentioned the merch, right? Mentioned coming down to Kilkenny. Like, you're doing videos now.
Yeah, but, like, also, like, it's very easy for someone to come down and do an interview in some ways, because I see, like, can you do an interview and keep up your training? Because I think that kind of side of things is very important, because there's a lot, I'm telling you get a lot of jokers down here now that'll be mad to chat for 2 hours about how busy they are, and they won't bother their top doing anything. Do you know what I mean? So
Dumpy.
yeah, so, like, that's like all the kind of training and stuff is the real hard work. This is fun, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I get to talk shite for an hour or whatever. Yeah, and that's great, like, you know.
No, it's really cool. Like, I'm really enamored with your story. I think it's, you know, it's a testament to your character. I can tell the journey is only in its infancy.
Yeah, well, this is it, like, you know, but it's all quite genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like, you say a lot of the character, but what I think with a lot of it, and that's why people get behind it, is, like, what you see is what you get. It's a young lad from Granard that legitimately seen an Irish wrestler win a championship and said, right, well,
I'm going to win a fucking championship.
yeah, and we did it, you know what I mean? And we're only getting started in so many ways, and you know, just, yeah, it's class.
In terms of, like, aspiring wrestlers and young lads, not just from Granard, from rural place, from Dublin city centre and stuff, like, what piece of advice would you give them?
Get started. Do you know what I mean? That's, like, all you can do. If you're in a position where you can't, like, do wrestling, get yourself in shape, like, because that's something I didn't do initially with wrestling. Like, once I started training, like, I really, like, tried to get, like, in shape and whatever like that, because when I was, like, 16, all I did was eat crisps, so, you know what I mean? Like, if you're, yeah, there we go, proof is in the pudding. So yeah, like, if you're trying to, if you want to wrestle and you can't right now, just do what you can. That's what I'd say. Like, get in shape, you know, get other mediums that can relate, you know.
Get involved even.
Yeah, like, this is it. Like, I remember I didn't do it, but I remember I went to a lot of .es, and I remember Stephen Muldoon, the promoter, was, like, taken down or whatever, and I was, because I'd watched whatever interviews online before I started training, I was ready to go up to him and ask him, would you need any crew for any shows coming up? And I just, like, do .es or something like that. I don't know how this worked in my head, but I didn't ask him in the end. I think I shit myself, and I was like, do you know what, it's not the time.
Did you? So you didn't annoy yourself after it?
No. Because I knew I was going to train and stuff like that, and I knew, like, it was just, I suppose, like, ideas like that would have been mad ideas out of like just frustration, but like you got there in the end.
That's refreshing to hear, like, because the other two tasks that I had with Mike Wall, he has regrets from when he stopped wrestling, and Dan O'Byrne's, he has regrets from when he stopped wrestling. You know, to speak to someone that is beginning their journey that obviously doesn't have any regrets as of yet.
Well, I have regrets in some places where like, well, even like times where I wish like I worked a little harder or maybe like got myself out in a different place, but like as I said, like I don't beat myself up on it because like that's only could drive me demented because I want to be better tomorrow. And it's instead of going, oh geez, 3 months ago I should have done such and such, or I should have sent a message to such and such, and I was like, right, well, we'll cop on for the next time and we'll learn from that, because as anything you do in life, like that's, you know, your bread and butter for improvement.
You mentioned OTT and you've wrestled there a few times. Is that a goal to keep
we're
going?
we're going for that, and I think that's going to be you know, there's a big platform there, as a golden platform. You know, I think we're coming for you. Yeah, definitely. Like OTT is somewhere that like I've kind of had my toe in and out of. I feel like I'm someone that's going to be like I'm going to be there soon, hopefully. You know, I've been very lucky to have some very cool matches there, like getting to debut. I never forget the day, because I remember being at the very first Contender show.
Yeah,
and like to me, what was like crazy was like I remember seeing the likes of Elja and Michael, and like seeing them, and I was like, I just didn't know I was going to be like nearly like brothers with them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And like I got to see them perform, and like but yeah, it was Contenders. It was like the first like big camp after COVID. It was like November 2022, I think. And I feel like at that time I was really hitting my stride and stuff like that. And did the camp, and then the show was announced, or the card was announced, and I had a singles match with Renzo Rose, who like I would put Renzo Rose up there with like Fabio and Martin Steers as the best in the country. I think he is like phenomenal inside out of the ring. I think he's like, if a big company comes scouting in this country, he's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know? Oh, like look, he's the whole package. Like he's a phenomenal wrestler. I really do believe that. But very lucky I got to wrestle him. Like, and that was like, I remember
I've got to train with him a few times, and fucking
he's great.
Sick, like, you know.
Yeah, he is great. And you know, we're very lucky to have him in the country. But I remember that day, like that match got announced, and I was like, holy, you know, like I have a singles match and a Contenders. And I remember I went back to the seat that I sat in at the first Contenders, and I was just like, I just need to take this thing, 'cause this is really cool. This is really cool. So, yeah, like I've got to do amazing stuff. And like one match, nobody ever remembers this match, is that I've wrestled Dan Maloney, Trent Seven, and DeReese in a 6-man tag in Belfast for OTT, which just doesn't sound real.
I love Dan Maloney.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's great. But yeah, like I feel like I haven't scratched the surface there, but I'm sure it's going to happen.
You nervous for that?
Yeah, definitely, because they're big names, they're big guys. It's a big opportunity for like Joe to give us. I'm very grateful for that as well. Like, you
just
know,
sit and listen when they're like going over the match. And
sometimes, yeah, like it's just a bit mad to take in. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, great experience. Like,
so after Andy Steele gets his head kicked in, after Fabio gets his head kicked in, what's 2024 ending like, and going into 2025 for CBL?
Well, there's still more SW to come.
Yeah.
Andy Steele, if I get one saver down, I'd go for 2.
So you'll have 2 championships.
I like the sound of that. You know, I don't.
So after Butch, IWA.
We'll see. You know, we're going to be busy with 2. We're going to push for that. I'm going to work hard for that.
You have one on the shoulder, one around the waist.
Maybe I could just like get a big like a leather belt that has a gold card holder.
Yeah,
that's what I want, you know. But I think the gold card is coming 2025.
Nice.
So I want to finish off this year with like a lot, like pump up the signatures on that petition. You know, I'd like to hit the 1,000 mark by the end of the year. That's ambitious. It's a big one. It's 3 months. We're 3 months to go, and I think, you know, with the right work, the right approach, we can get those 1,000 signatures, and I think we can keep pushing on from on and on and on.
We're going to get one of your photos now up back here, so people that are watching it on the TikToks and on the fucking Instagrams, they'll see your face. We'll move over Trent 7.
Yeah, we'll
see your face and go, oh fuck yeah, I didn't sign it.
Yeah, lads, #CBL for Copper's Gold. If you aren't signing it, you're absolutely no crack. And when I have my gold card, I'm going to laugh at you in the queue. You're only a fool if you don't sign it. And we won't even go for pints.
That's a bit much.
It's harsh, but the people, like, they need to know. Yeah. Sign the petition.
They do.
#CBL for Copper's Gold.
Boom. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It has. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back down
Yeah,
again
definitely.
with some more marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you enjoy hanging around with marks like ourselves?
Oh man, we all love wrestling. Do you know what I mean? And this is I've had a lot of fun. And this is like I've I don't like to say that, but like marks. No, we're just like we all love wrestling. Like I'd happily be down again and talk to a few years about random stuff of wrestling and random.
Yeah, I just love.
World.
I just see. I'm 34, so
21 plus VAT. That's what my granny used to say. 21 plus VAT. You're not old.
But like we were all in WhatsApp groups just talking about wrestling. I was like, why don't we just fucking meet up and talk about wrestling?
Well, see, this is the thing is like I have a heap of mates that like we'll sit down and we'll watch matches and we'll watch like each other's matches together and we'll like I'm very lucky in that side that like as you can imagine in a small town like Granard you don't have many friends that watch wrestling. So like now all my mates like are in wrestling.
Class.
And it's just like that's mad, you know, my whole world is wrestling, you know what I mean?
Change your environment and then
100%
it matches
like,
your personality.
Know, yeah, 100%. Like I've moved, left home and everything for this and like it's it's given me so much. Do you know, I can never like be grateful enough.
I've got to interview lads like Jordan and different people who have gone, like everyone in the Irish scene who has had a match has gone on to do amazing things in my mind, you know, having the match and just being involved in it. But I've got to interview, say, Jordan, and now seeing him and what he's doing now, JD McDonough, and he's tag team champion. I've got to train with Lyra and LJ, and it's mind blowing what they've gone to do. But also learn from Phil, the brief spell that I got to learn with Katie, learn from Justy, Paddy Morrow.
That's it's a great scene. Like
it's phenomenal. But speaking to all of them and knowing the passion that you have, you can see why you're standing out. You know, with your videos that you're doing, you're putting a lot. You're getting a bit of help there with
Joey Monroe is the man now, to be fair. You know, as I say, like I have like a lot of ideas and stuff like that, and I love like I think like how lucky am I that I get to go out and main event like a show like down in RCW, and I had like a very a return package, a video package like made by Joey Monroe. Like, you know, it was an idea that I had for a long time of like, and I could see it, but like I don't have the skills for that. But he's someone that I've like kind of collaborated with a lot of ideas, and he's really helped me kind of up that level of my game. You know what I mean? And he's doing some strong content there of his own with Gangland and Fight Factory, and he's leveling them boys up. But he's great skin to have around, and you know. And
that's what I want to say to lads as well. If you love wrestling and you want to get involved, there's different ways you can get involved by. You don't necessarily have to wrestle, because I know guys that'll be unathletic that'll be like, I would have loved to do it. I was like, well, you can still be around it. You can still train and enjoy it.
Like I think there's like yourself, like you're training and stuff now, which is pretty cool. But like you see the sides where you're so strong and you have your strengths and your skills, and you're like, right, well, I want to bring this and make the overall thing better. And I think that's amazing. Like I think there's it's a great mindset that I think a lot of people should have. Yeah, and it's cool. Someone said to me one thing that LJ said. He goes, it clicked with him that there's people in it because they just love wrestling and they just want to train, and then there's other people in it that are like, this is my career. Yeah, but there's a place for everyone. And that really resonated with me when I heard that, and hearing it from someone like LJ as well is pretty cool. So I'd encourage people, if you ever just wanted to do it, like Fight Factory was so accommodating when I went there. School of Irish Wrestling, so accommodating when I went there. The avenue was there. Yeah, and that's a big reason of like when you said that, like when I kind of touched on the club thing and the community thing, like I'm in Fight Factory more than my home. Yeah, I see people I train with more than I see my family. Yeah. So it has to be like a fitting environment for that. And I see it as a club, as a thing that like if you want to travel the world with wrestling, you have the assets and resources there. But also if you just want to have the crack and just enjoy it, but be respectful within that, you have that there. And I think it's you can learn any amount of skills from this to bring to the real world. Like it really like taught me about hard work, dedication, like respect, patience, all these things that like you will use everywhere. Do you know what I
it's
mean?
brought me back, like, at the start of the year, you know, I've dropped nearly 20 pounds since the start of the year from just going training, and then not just going training, going, oh, I couldn't do the up and over. All right, I want to learn how to do the up and over. I need to get a bit fitter. I need to drop a bit of weight.
I think this is,
you know, it's a really healthy thing to just be involved in if you love it. But it's great getting to chat to you, man.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
This is cool. Hopefully this is staying around your shoulder or waist.
We got to double up that gold. We got to triple up that gold. We're going for it all.
Hard Knocks, getting it. OTT, getting it. Everybody getting it. CBL, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And you have to fight JBL then as well.
Yeah, we're coming for JBL. That lariat, you can throw it all you want, but I'm knocking that hat off your head.
Ishk, getting a bit of an Irish curse. That's been the Wrestling Founder Wrestling Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, all that mad stuff. Our sign-offs are terrible. Thanks for listening. He's been CBL, the Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion, and he's going to remain so for the fucking rest of your life. And Coppers, give the man a gold card.
Yeah.